All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to thank every one of us for signing up for this level two and for showing interest in being part of the training and also for being part of the training. I want to appreciate every one of you. And I also want to use this opportunity to congratulate you all for um, the step you've taken to get certified uh, within level one. And some of you I knew you did the Google Gemini certification. I think it's quite commendable to see that we are all taking deliberate steps towards professional development. As teachers, it is very necessary that we take these things quite seriously because that's the only way we can improve ourselves and then model appropriate use of technology within our classes to transform learning and to also enable us facilitate proper learning and encourage students to also learn how to use these tools. As people would rightly say, technology has come to stay, and so we must always learn to advance ourselves. I've had a couple of people ask me, what's the use of this certificate? The truth of the matter is, you most times don't know when things that you acquire would come to be needed. That's one thing I have learned in life. And then secondly, there is no knowledge that is wasted. And so having something to demonstrate or to show that you've actually acquired this skill, it's really very necessary. And so apart from just applications, putting it as part of your CV, part of your certificate, it's also skills that you have acquired. But having said that, I want to also highlight the fact that I know with what has happened within the group, a lot of people finding out that the certification is free and with all of the resources I've provided to help people pass the exam, I've seen people just go to write the exam and then get stuck and are asking very, very uh, basic questions that will demonstrate to you or show to you clearly that this person did not have the skill. They just want to take the exam and get certificate. In our climate, especially in Nigeria, we've seen that a lot of always people value certificates, so to speak, and so people go for certificate without really having the skills. And the skills is what will matter when you eventually get the job. If you use the certificate to get the job, but you don't have the skills to execute, then it becomes a major problem. I did a write up in the WhatsApp group that's really a personal story. It happened to me the first major breakthrough job I would have gotten, which was working with Globacom. And I went for the interview. I'm a physics graduate. I have 2-1, strong 2-1 as people will call it. And the only question they asked me after all the normal, what's your name, introduce yourself was, if a bird, why is it that when a bird perches on a high tension wire, it doesn't get electrocuted? And I couldn't really articulate the answer, and that was how I lost that job. Uh, I was a physics graduate with certificates, but I couldn't answer basic questions that has to do with the application of the laws of electricity. So I that was a big lesson for me, and that has made me realize that as as much as it is good to have certificates, it's also good to have the skills to be able to do what you need to do. All right, so that's by the way. Now, I'm just going to lay a few ground rules and structure out how the training will go. As usual, if you've been part of the Google Level 1 training, you know that we always try to cover 2 units every day, every day that we meet. This training will go for 4 to 5 weeks, depending. Um, and so I would I will not be as strict as I was with the level one because during the level one there were some vouchers that could be given. But since the exam is free, I won't be as strict as that. I will still give assignments. I won't be strict on you submitting the assignment. I will still take attendance. I won't be strict on you being part of the attendance. But what I will be very strict on is the people that join the training, that you have to have level one certificates to be part of the training. And secondly, after the second day, you will not be allowed to join. After this training, there will be no level two training anymore, maybe until subsequent years, if God allows. But what will happen is that all of these resources, I will structure them as self-paced learning that people can go and sign up for. And so that's the first thing I'm going to also show. In my classroom, I have what is called GC level one training, self-paced. So all of the resources are there. People that wants to take the go through the level one skills acquisition, knowing how to do use some of these tools can come in here and learn as much as they want to learn. I've structured all the assignments, unit 1 to 7, which is two units, unit tax one. So there are two units. So in this class now, there are 97 people. None of them have done the assignment. But what I eventually will be committed to, both for the level one and level two, is that every week, twice a week, I will go in and check if there are people that are committed, submitted the assignments. I will provide feedback and possibly grade them. So it will be self-paced. So after this training, the level two will also be self-paced with all the necessary resources, and everything will be there. Slides, PowerPoint presentation, videos, all of that will be packed there, and people can go and follow. So, as usual, if you have questions, you can raise up your hands within the class. There is the raise hand button. You can use that to raise up your hand. I will respond to your questions, and then we can proceed as we go. So, again, welcome to the class and congratulations for making it to the level two. Now, level one is foundational. Level two takes you to another level. In level one, it is more about you. In level two is about we. Now, level one, I don't know how many of you are familiar with the technology integration model called SAMR principle, SAMR. S means substitution, A means augmentation, M means modification, and R means redefinition. So unit one covers two parts, which is substitution and modification. Substitution simply means that rather than using paper or using notebook or using physical classroom, I'm using Google Classroom. Rather than using um, notebooks, I'm using Google Doc. So we are literally just replacing. For example, rather than using whiteboard, I'm using electronic board. So we're replacing the tool, we're substituting an old tool for a new tool without necessarily changing the functionality. Instead of writing, now you are typing. Um, Instead of physical classroom, now you have Google Classroom. So there is a change of tools, a substitution of tools from physical to digital, but without um, really changing without modifying the use cases. That's an example. Then the second one is called modification, where you are able to uh, augmentation, sorry, where you are able to, apart from just changing the tool, you are also able to now augment. So, for example, um, physically, when the student submits his assignment um, in a physical textbook, you would have to collect the assignment and mark it before you hand it over to them. But if you are using Google tool, which is that you are substituting a notebook with a Google tool, what you are able to do with that Google tool, the next level is called augmentation, meaning a student can turn in a work and you can quickly go and give him feedback, return the work to him, and he can make amends or make corrections and then return it back to you. Uh, Without that student going home and coming back, that you are able to augment some things within the assignment. So that is what Unit 1 enables, the first two model. Then Unit 2 now talks about modification and redefinition. You can go and study the the models of technology integration in classrooms. And then unit level two also takes you from just focusing on yourself to you being a leader and a mentor within your class, within your school, mentoring people, taking leadership and taking lead in technology innovations within your school. And so most of the tools that we'll be looking at are the tools that we have used in level one, but now we'll be looking at it in how to scale it up for your student and then scale it up for your school. So that is just a summary of what level two is. The Advanced advanced features of those tools we'll learn, and also how you are able to take those tools or introduce those tools to your school, model it, um, and then advance those things within your school. That is what the level two is about, bringing you into a leadership and a mentorship role. All right, so let's go to the next one. All right, so we're going to start with level two, unit one of level two. This is just, I would share this, what's it called? I'll share the resources with us later on. I'll share these resources with us later on. Uh, it will be part of the content that we've given. So if level one is like learning to read a map, level two is learning is like becoming a cartographer, somebody that is able to design the map itself. This level is about designing new routes for learning, not just following existing existing routes. So it's broken down into four: the foundation, the journey, leadership role, and then your destination. All right. Okay, so unit one talks about promote and model the effective use of digital tools. Promote and model effective use of digital tools. Okay. So this is level one provides prove your proficiency with the tools. Level two is your transition into leadership role. The journey is about moving beyond being an individual user to becoming a catalyst for change, turning your technical skills into true influence within your school community. So that's basically what level two is. We will still be doing some practical, as I like to. My model is I'll run through the theoretical part, I'll do the practicals, and then as I continue, I will always let you know the use cases, the many, many use cases that you can use to work this out. One thing I want to show is before I also proceed further with this is that you will need to see um, in the in the classes I put the resources here called quick links. These are links to resources you can go and reference. Um, there are two of them. These are some of us that most of us that have run level one is just to go into your Google LMS and look for advanced training and then intermediate use of Google. So these are the two learning pathways on Google for you to be able to complete the level one, level two, not necessarily to pass the exams, but to be able to acquire the necessary skills and know what level two is about. So please let's look at those tools. Another place where I have put course material is if you go to classwork, you will see that I created a course material here. Uh, this is your task. This is course material. You will see for the YouTube channel where we'll be posting most of our resources, then the intermediate, and then the advanced. So clicking on those links just takes you there. And then if you're already logged in before, it will log you in automatically. Then I also created something like an AI chatbot that can help you learn. It's called Gem. If you are used to Google Gemini, there's what is called Gem in Google Gemini. So I have trained it with Google resources. So it's more like a study partner. And these are some of the advanced feature that level two showcases, which we will be doing some of the practicals. So if you click on this, it opens Google Gemini for you and it tells you, okay, study partner GC level two, and then you can chat it up, and then it would be like a study partner guiding you through um, the resources and what is it that you want to learn. Um, so you can ask it any question, it will explain and guide you through based on the units that we are covering. That is what it has been trained to do. And as the program goes on, when we get to that point, I will show you how to also create this and to also assign it to your classroom if you are using Google Classroom. Google is a good tool. See, I'm here to help you master the advanced skills for level two certification. I'll ask guiding question along the way to get us started. Could you tell me which units you are currently working on and what specific tool or classroom goals you'd like to drive into? So you see that as a teacher, um, you can use this for professional development in your school. You can use it even within your classroom, where you will set up a chatbot using Google Gemini. It's called Gem, and you will give it all the resources, prompt it, tell it what it can do, what it should not do. It should not give answers. It should rather ask questions, get the student to understand. So you can provide all the resources and then share the link in your Google Classroom. If your students have Google account, then they will be able to interact. It is what you want them to do that they will be that chat will allow them able to do. And this brings a solution to the challenge that we have where people are saying students are using AI and they're cheating and all of that. Google gives you, especially if your school has Google accounts that you can give to students and give to teachers, then this is a perfect way to curtail the use of the 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 abuse of AI, but rather you can guide them in the proper use of AI so that you are not just stopping them from using a technology that has come to stay, but you are modeling the right use of this technology. So I will also walk us through how that is done. And you can use that, especially for you people, for any schools that is using Google Classroom to teach. So not only is this important or useful for your student, it is also useful for you as a mentor now as you begin to design curriculum or design professional development for for your fellow staff or for your school, which is what we'll be learning in the unit. All right. So coming back, sorry. From proficiency to influence, the Google Educator Level 2 journey, Unit 1. All right. So level one was about me. Level two is going to be about us. You mastered the tool for your own classroom. Now it's time to become a catalyst for your own entire school community. Again, it's about taking what you've learned and being able to replicate it and being a leader within your school environment so as to be able to influence uh, people. Now, for effective use of technology integration, it does not happen by accident. It requires deliberate, positive, and flexible plan. Before introducing new tools, you need a strategy to guide your colleagues who will now explore three proven, will go through three proven mentorship model you can use to tailor to your own school culture. I'll just run through some of these. Again, like I would like to mention, all of these you will find them, you'll find everything here if you want to go through it. So you can go through their own resources or you can use my PowerPoint to do your study. We will go through the practicals. So for example, there are three tools that we'll look at and use tonight. And those are these three tools, Google Site, Google Drive, and Google Blogger. And I'll show you how those can be leveraged. That's in Unit 1. In Unit 2, we'll see some of the tools also that we would use. So we use the first 1 hour to just run through the explanation and then the following hour to do some of the practicals. So we'll still be leveraging on those tools. If there are basic knowledge, I would assume that most of you have used Google Site before. So we'll still be leveraging on those tools. If there are basic knowledge, I would assume that I would assume that most of us in this class have gone through the level one, and so some of the basic knowledge, I will not have to go through it again. If you need to refer, I will refer you back to the videos and to the level one self-paced course so that you can go take it up there. Every school faces three different hurdles. One, teacher isolation. The teacher is just working on his own, no assistant. Um, somebody had a question. Please, if you are not, I'll suggest that if you can just you can mute yourself, please. So every school faces three different challenges. Um, One is teacher isolation. Teachers cannot, they work on their own. They don't have people to work with them. Um, and so that's one of the challenge. Then lack of time. Teachers complain, no, I do not have a lot of time to travel or to do other things. So I cannot learn, I cannot improve myself. The third one is a one size fits all professional development. That professional development that is not tailored to your specific needs. Like, for example, all math teachers, English teacher, all of you go for the same training. Whereas there should be training that is tailored for just math teachers and training that is tailored for other level of course-based or subject area-based level of training. So the concrete example is, for example, a PE teacher who feels technology is irrelevant. Um, as a leader, you create or you can curate a YouTube playlist of fitness warm-up access on a gym to provide utility immediately. So, for example, a PE teacher says, I lack resources. But you that have gone through level one, now you're in level two educator, you should be able to know exact tool that you can guide that teacher to be able to find the resources that he or she needs to help her with whatever she needs to do. Like I mentioned, it doesn't happen by accident. You have to plan. And so we'll be looking at the three models that in your school you can leverage on to encourage technology integration. One is coaching method, where um, personalized one-to-one with colleagues for personal support um, in lesson planning and text skill building. So, for example, maybe you are tech savvy, you know how to use AI. You can coach somebody on how to use AI. So, level two more is more about you taking what you've learned and being able to train others to to be some tech users. A coach, uh, depending on how some schools have this set up, some schools they get a tech coach that continues to teach their staff how to use technology. But a lot of times we might not be in those schools. And so as a leader in the school, you might want to see how you can train others. I have one of the one lady amongst the TTC that actually introduced her school to how they can do lesson planning and approval of lesson planning directly on Google Drive. And that's what they've been doing from the moment she went through that training. So that those are some of the things that you can do. Train the trainers, select teachers, receive specialized training with the expectation that they will train their fellow colleagues. Then early adopters. Uh, for example, some of you are people that have come to take level one and then you are level two and you are going to your school. So you are early adopter, leveraging Google enthusiasts to spread the ideas organically. Um, so taking what you've learned and then taking it to your school to see how you can improve what they are doing. Deep school-wide support system. Um, sorry, my mouse is. I need to reset. So there are three ways you can build a school-wide instructor training or model for your school, and that is first instructional coaches. Schools can have this four method where they recruit an instructional coach that will teach teachers how to use technology. Student-led support, uh, using students that are tech savvy to also coach and train teachers. Then school site mentors designate maybe a particular person that is a tech savvy person, and then say this person is going to be a tech lead in our school, pulling her or him away from some subjects so that she can focus on training teachers. Then self-guided PDs. So, for example, you are the one that are trained. Maybe your school decide, okay, we can't have instructional coaches, we can't have student-led support, we can't have school site mentors, but we can have people set up professional development, um, self-guided, that teachers can go on within the school and continue to learn. So one person goes for training, prepares all the resources, and uses different Google platforms to provide it to teachers to learn. So it's more about creating and curating digital support resources, which is the next thing we'll be going into. Now, if you're going to do all of this, that now brings us to um, majorly the practical part, which is how do you curate? How do you create? Curating is gathering these resources and being able to provide them to teachers. Creating is you creating resources from afresh. So, first, gaining momentum as a collaborative effort always give teachers a voice, form a technology committee, get leadership support, involve everyone, both students, teachers, and parents. If you are really going to introduce technology to your school, um, because it's not just about you learning it. If you don't use it, those skills will not be relevant to you. So it's necessary that not only should we learn, but we should also have an environment to be able to demonstrate what we've learned. And the best way to keep learning is to be able to teach others. So towards the end of this training, I will also be providing opportunity for schools uh, that that I'm able to, by God's grace, providing opportunity for with some of the things that I have to make it available for schools that want to start rolling out technology to be able to use this. So those announcements will be coming as time progresses. So now we're going to talk about the tools and that's where we'll get into the practical. But I want to rush through the theoretical part of the units 1 and 2 so that we can jump into the practical for a whole full hour. Now, so we have 25 more minutes for that, for this part. So we'll look at the powerful vision. For a powerful vision needs powerful tool. So let's equip you with the Google resource designed to create, curate, and share. So there are three key components. To create means you're creating resources. Curate means you are gathering and sourcing resources and pulling them together. Then thirdly, which is very important, what is the essence of creating resources or curating resources if you cannot share that both with your entire school or even beyond your schools? Some of these tools are tools that you as a teacher can use to make money for yourself, that you as a teacher can use to, if you are doing private practice lesson, you have some lessons or you have some consultancies that you do. Some of these tools can really be used not just for your school, but beyond your school to up your game and to have some source of additional income. So we'll be looking at those tools. So if the I mentioned those two earlier, but we'll be just looking at one is YouTube, your digital library. You can curate playlists, organize pre-selected videos to save class time and avoid inappropriate content. Collect how-to videos, narrate shorts, and even funny videos. So YouTube allow you do content creation and content curation. If you did the level one, you'll see we talked about how to create playlists. And so that is part of that. So as a teacher, you can create your own videos. We talked about creating your YouTube channel in level one, and then uploading videos and all of that in level two, in level one also. So you can create your own document or you can curate playlists that you'll be able to share with people. and that will take you beyond your class. So you can do how-to videos, short how-to videos. The next thing is also YouTube Live, which we will also look into today. How do you create and set up a YouTube Live just from your phone? A lot of us are able to do that. So you can use that to do PDs for your professional development for your teachers, or even to teach your students, whether they are at home or they are in school. You can create short videos of yourself explaining the concept and sending it to them. Now, YouTube or video is one of the easiest way that you do a flipped classroom where most of the learning is done outside the class, but inside the class, you now look at focusing on uh, improving and deliberating on what has been learned. So YouTube is one of the tools that we'll be using. Google Drive is one of the tools that we'll be using. We have covered Google Drive in level one. I will touch a little bit of it, but there's another component that we did not touch at all in level one that I will focus on, and that is called shared drive. So with folder permission, as a teacher, you can create different folders for your students. I won't be focusing on students in level two. I'll be focusing on professional development and how you can use this as a school to structure out a lot of things. And I'll be using those use cases. So you can use Google Drive is part of it. Google Sites, we also looked at Google Sites in level one, where we created some sites. Uh, so with Google Sites, you can create a site. The beauty of Google Sites is that it is public, and it is you can parents can go look at what is happening. You can use it to showcase student work, and that those are the ways to encourage parents to be part of the class because you are showcasing what they are doing, what your students are doing. You can use it to host your own courses and have people subscribe to your courses. You can use it to do class newsletter and also use it to do a hyperdoc where all the links to resources that you have pulled together are there, and all of that is also very useful for you as and we'll be looking at those practicals today. You can use it for tutorials, resources, feedback. You can embed Google Form, PowerPoint, videos, YouTube channels, and all of that. You can embed it into a Google site. A good example could be you can have a Google site for every of your subjects. And as time goes on, every year you keep updating and updating and updating. So you have a repository of knowledge that you build over time. The last one is Google Blog. Uh, this is a platform that is very good. You can use it to share weekly posts, quick tutorials, links to new apps, or reflect on new lessons. A lot of us we like to write, or some of us want to start writing. Google Blogger is a good way for you to write, and it's free. All you need is just your Google account, and you'll be able to use the Blogger uh, to create a lot of write-up. You can host lesson plans across the year and share it with people. So you can build traction and build reputation by posting very well articulated and well designed lesson plans. And you can have topics, have titles, and tag them properly, and people can go in. And after a while, you can decide to actually monetize those things, and people will be willing to pay for it if you have all of those resources. Now, so the circle is mentorship model, coaching and training, and then the toolkit, YouTube, Drive, and Site, and then Blogger. These are the key things that you need to be able to drive innovation and to drive, so to be able to drive technology adoption within your school. Because a lot of times, one of the things that frustrate teachers are the fact that you learn something new and you are willing and passionate to express it in your school, but there is no support. And that's why we must play that mentorship role to see it transform. If you are using one thing that is helping you and others within your school are not using it, then you will not be able to flourish. For example, if you are able to design all your lesson plan and everything online, and other people are using paper, and you know that this is quite easy and it makes you more efficient, then you are doing that, and every other person is using something else. You have to now convert to paper before you submit for approval. So that's why it's necessary that what we are learning, we should take it back to school so that we can begin to change the culture within our schools. So for level two, your goal isn't just to pass the exam. Your goal is to ensure that you build uh, the legacy within your school, and then make sure that you are doing what you need to do to impact others. So we'll shift to unit two. Again, I just want to run um, through the theories, then we can focus on the practical for another 1 hour. So level two, unit two talks about leverage learning models to personalize learning. Now, it's about personalizing learning, and that's the best way to really impact students. Knowing every student's learning style and being able to personalize learning to some extent to tailor make learning to those students. It's really very necessary. Um, Strategies and tools for the 21st century classroom is what this unit two is talking about. We're going to be walking through um, a handbook for educators transitioning from just passive consumption model to active creation, synthesizing fleet, blended, and project-based learning strategies. So we'll be looking at fleet learning, blended, and then project-based strategies that you can use within your school to within your classroom now to personalize learning for your students, knowing that your students learn differently as you all are aware of. So there are three core model: project-based, students solve real world problems guided by driving questions. You give them questions and that guides them into project. When we say project, that doesn't just mean that they have to construct something. Project can be group work. You could say, okay, we're studying, you can give an example, what is they should go and learn about, or the question can be, why do we have global warming? And you're asking them that at the end of their research, they should produce a 5 page PowerPoint presentation. That is project. It's not necessarily about just creating. It's about getting students to attempt to research, reason, curate their data, and then present. That way, they are not just learning, it's a multimodal learning system. They are not just learning one thing. They are learning how to communicate with among themselves. They are learning how to collaborate. They are learning how to research. And it's just a science unit. They are teaching maybe climate change. You could have just sat in your class and teach them based on from your notes. And even if you taught them well, they will only be learning one thing, listening to you, learning what you taught them, and then they are able to reproduce it for an exam. But if you adopt the project-based learning, where you are giving them tasks, so they are learning how to work among themselves, communicate, collaborate. Then they are learning how to research. They are learning how to gather their points, put their points in PowerPoint. That means they are also learning how to use PowerPoint. And at the end of the day, they are learning how to present. So you see how that differs from just you sitting in front of the class and dishing out to you adopting the project learn basis, where students are able to learn multiple skills within the same science subject. So we'll be looking at flipped classrooms. Students learn content at home via videos or platform, and then come to class to now do the practicals and apply it to real life scenarios. And tools that you can use for that is Google Form, embedded videos and questions. Again, we've done a little bit of that in this one, in level one, but we'll do that and just review that. Blended learning waves together in-person class instruction with online guided activity. A good way to use that is you teach them in class, but you create a Google Doc with links. They call it hyperdocs. excuse me, hmm, with links, with links to a lot of resources that the student can refer to and continue to optimize. The screen went into, sorry, my screen went into sleep mode. Top sleep mode. I didn't touch my screen, so it went into sleep mode. Empowering students to showcase knowledge visually. So we'll be looking at some of the tools that you can use to do that. Design flowcharts and timeline using Google Slides and Google Drawing. Create digital books and magazine using Google Slides, and then they can also use uh, Google tools like Jamboard, although that has been cancelled now. But they can use AI to create infographics and whiteboards. And so we'll be looking at some of those tools. Let's see recording. Okay. We'll be looking at some of those tools. So is your classroom a bus journey or a tour guide? That's the difference between the traditional classroom and then the personalized learning classroom. You can see that those two images. By the way, this I use Notebook LM to generate this presentation. So that's why you have those stunning images. So a bus driver, a traditional bus is the driver is in front, and all the students are seated in the class. So long as there is no noise, they are listening. The driver drives them that they are going. As a teacher, you do all the talking. But guided tour is where you are guiding them through the learning. They are asking questions, and it is much more personalized. That's the approach of uh, this learning model. So the limits of one size fits all model. Traditional model often fails to account for the variance in student processing speed and interest. Educators face three primary friction points: time constraint, relevance gap, and then passive learning. Time constraint, what do you do for student who takes longer the most to finish in an in-class assignment? So we cannot adopt just one size fits all. But you also must be careful not to slow some people down because you are wanting others to catch up. And that's why we must understand some of these models and then know the right tool to use to help each level or each category of student. How do you connect your learning objective with real life scenario? There's always a gap between concept and real life, between what you're teaching in class and real life. So this project-based learning, for example, allows you connect, and then flipped learning also allows you connect concept to real life uh, scenario, your learning objective to real life scenario. How do you connect learning objective with real world scenarios? Passive learning. In what ways do you maximize technology to reach different students and different needs? And it is necessary for us to be able to leverage technology to do all of this as we progress, because that's the main essence of the Google tools. All of these are possible with Google tools. Three parts to a more personalized classroom. One is project-based learning, learning through inquiry and creation. Then there's a flipped classroom, content at home, application in the class. Blended learning, weaving together in-person and online instruction. So these are three things that we can begin to use within our class. And all of these tools that we are talking about are able to help us do and all of this. All right. So an example of project-based is solving real problem with project-based learning. It begins with a driving question, followed by an inquiry-based process where students choose how to solve the problems and present their findings. A good example of this, you give them a topic, and a group can say, okay, we will use PowerPoint presentation. A group can say we will submit our response in an ASIN. A group can say we'll do video. So that way, the students can choose how they will do or they will submit their assignments. Now, I know there are constraints. You have maybe 3 periods a week to do something. But one of the ways you can get this done is you can structure that we would have one in a term, and then you choose the topic and then you prepare the students for it. They can do their side project every time they come to a class. You can keep telling them about the project and spread it over 5 or 6 or 10 weeks, but let them consistently do it. And that way you can even structure how the timelines and the milestones for for them to carry out those things within time. So a fifth grade class reads an article about contaminated body of water. This sparks a full project-based unit where they can research water contamination, document their journey, and present their findings to the community. So it doesn't have to be something that starts and ends with the class, nor should it be something that stops you from doing every other thing. You can say, okay, this term we're going to do one project-based learning, and you structure out the requirement, the objectives, and then the timeline so that students can continue to work as they progress throughout the entire time. Um, to gear up for project-based learning, they can showcase their journey on Google Sites. That's one way. They can do videos. They can take pictures while they go around doing what they need to do. They take pictures. And sometimes this is also uh, I think one of the areas that this is very useful that can be easily done is when you have a homeroom class where maybe one teacher takes it maybe from primary 1 to 5. I think not like high school where the students move around or secondary school where they go from one class to the other. But if you have your class and you teach them multiple subjects and they sit with you, this might be a way for you to easily achieve that. Then you use Google Site for them to take videos, take some stuff. They can do it at home, come to school and discuss it, and then they put it on their site. This way, you are showcasing what they are doing. And most times, when students know that they are presenting to a community and not just to themselves, then they will be forced to do even more. Embed recording of guest speakers, student testimonial of their learning and images, and share the results. Now, flip classroom um, it's a way for you to maximize your class time so that class time is used for application and support. So content delivery, especially if you work among in a school where um, students have access to some technology back home, you can communicate with their parents and introduce some of the things you're doing. Of course, with authorization from the management. Then you send some content home, they read, and then they come back, and then you can look at real application. I see this as one effective way to maximize your class time and to um, get students to apply what they've learned to real life scenario, and then you are able to have enough time to support them. Students receive content at home, usually by video, and use class time to apply what they've learned. The teacher is there to support and extend learning, roaming the room to facilitate. So rather than just standing in front to teach you are more like a facilitator now. Uh, so that's the core concept of flipped classroom, that you're able to provide that support to your students as they progress with their learning. Uh, so what can be used for flip classroom? You can use Blogger, you can use Google Form. So for example, you can embed a YouTube video within a Google form and ask questions. So the student watch it and then you are able to ask them questions within the form and then they are able to. So you are sure that they've actually watched that video and they are responding to the question. And when you come to class, you can now delve deep into support and application within the class. Another way you can do flip classroom, you can use a video to introduce the subject to them. And then when they come to class, the first thing you begin to engage them with is to check their knowledge and to see where they are at so that you know where to provide support. Embed your flip video directly into Google Form and add questions right under the video to check for understanding before the class. I can get the result of their learning in time to adjust for the next day. So you know where they are, you know where they're starting from, and it gives you an opportunity to also see the different kind of students and their level of understanding within the class. Blogger also, you can create articles. You can also put videos on blogs, and students can read and also do the same thing. You can use Google Sites for this also, and it provides you that same effect and that same opportunity for you to use. The next one is blended, a model that weaves together in-person classroom instruction with online instruction. So teacher provide online guided activity, and students learn both with the teacher and independently. These are areas where um, applications come in place. Again, you can use Google Form, you can use Google Site, you can use HyperDoc with Google Doc. You can even use PowerPoint where you put all the resources in the PowerPoint, share it with them. You start in class, they continue their learning at home. Um, and then you are able to continue to leverage on that blended approach to get them to learn and to improve the skills that they have within that course. Teacher provide online guided activities allowing students to learn both with the teachers and then to learn independently. Assign additional tasks for those who are ready, provide assistance for those who are struggling. This platform allows you, you can have platform that allows you, uh, Google Classroom can also do that. When you know that, oh, this student is struggling, you can create an assignment for just that student in the area where they need to improve, whereas the other ones are given an assignment in the area that extends their level of knowledge. So in that way, you are able to meet different needs within your classroom. Marry content standard with the technical and collaborative skills students will need in the future. A safe space to fail. So when you have these platforms or this, when you're using these tools that we're talking about, and you're able to personalize questions and tasks to individual students, then even if they make mistakes, they can always try again. This platform gives them the ability to keep trying until they've gotten the responses that you desire from them. So blended learning, again, like I said, simple Google Doc with a table. One column has the media to explore, the other column has the links. So you can have a column with all the resources, name, and then a link to where the resources can be found. So one document can serve as a repository of resources that the student can leverage on or can use while they are learning at home and while they are learning with you. To introduce, for example, avalanches, a teacher shares a document with links to one YouTube video and 5 websites. Students explore the resources at their own pace, pasting their notes and images directly into the table. Um, you can also use PowerPoint for this, where you can create one page each for every student and have the students carry out their task or provide the resources that every student needs to use within that same document. So from instruction to creating showcasing student knowledge. Um, One thing that you can also do, again, like I said, it's not just about curating or creating. It's also about showcasing, sharing. The goal is not just what teacher can do, but how students can use visual tools to demonstrate the mastery. Technology provides students with an ample option to choose from to display their knowledge. So these are good ways for you to give students voices. They can record videos, they can record voices, they can do PowerPoints, they can do infographics and do drawings, and all of those tools are available, especially when students know that they can document their learning and share it with others. Like I said, this, that is the next stage in the technology integration model where there is modification and redefinition. Modification, let me start from simply going through the process using Google Doc or Google Tool. So substitution is rather than using paper, they are using Google Drive and Google Doc and or PowerPoint. They are putting their work in PowerPoint. Augmentation is that you are able to go into that PowerPoint and provide feedback, right click and do comments, make corrections real time, and they'll be able to see. Then modification is the student can decide how they want to submit the assignment. So a student can say, okay, I'm going to take my articles and put it in a PowerPoint presentation and submit it. Others can say, I'm going to do a voiceover of the same assignment. Others can say, I'm going to present before the class. And it's the same task that you have given. So you see how they are modifying the the assignment. Then redefinition is about them being able to showcase it so that others can learn. So a student has done all his work and then decides, okay, I'm going to post this on my class Google site so that I share it with other students. Maybe students that are in the lower level, they can learn um, from what I am doing. So you see that you're taking it from just an assignment to giving students voices on what to do and how to do stuffs within the class. So these are some of the things that is necessary as we go from just using the tool to leveraging the tools to ensure that students and our fellow teachers are making the most of what we need to do. Students toolkit more than just slides. Focus on Google Slides. Students can create a wide range of traditionally printed and digital materials. Flowcharts using diagram options, online visual books, magazines and brochures, informational pictures, advanced techniques. Students can also do animation, but that will require advanced techniques. Within PowerPoint, you can do animations. And so uh, these are some of the very, very important things that we're looking at in level two. It's not just about knowing the tool, but it's actually using those tools to transform learning within your class. So Google Drawing, create infographics, flowchart and diagram, uploading and commenting. For physical work, student can upload a picture to Drive or Classroom. Teacher can then comment directly on the image. Digital inking, fantastic way to bring drawing online. And you can use whiteboard within the class. We've also looked at Google Keeps. Students can leverage Google Keeps to keep notes and to collaborate like we've looked at initially. Um, this should be the last. All right. Their guide on their tour. The teacher provides the map and the destination, but the student chooses the path, explore what interests them, and discovers the view for themselves. Now, again, you don't have to completely change your class uh, because you still have some things to do, but you can begin to introduce some of these concepts, especially if you work among students that have access to technology. But even if those students don't have access to technology, you can begin to leverage these tools to improve teachers within your school. Worst case scenario, to also improve yourself, to better prepare for your classes, to better curate your content, to enable you learn, and then to prepare you for maybe opportunities to teach to get access to another school. The lady that I gave her an example of earlier, eventually she told me she's moving back to another state now because she got a job um, using some of the things she did with her school that she just learned. She's getting a job in another school that are much more advanced in terms of technology. So it's not just if it works for us across board, whether you work as a teacher in a school where there is technology, or you work as a teacher in a school where there is minimal technology or full on technology. You can leverage all of these tools for yourself to improve your community, your teacher community, and then to use it with your school. So if your school has no technology, keep learning how to use this tool to ease your work, to plan, to curate, and to gather resources for yourself that you can always keep using. to better yourself as you teach. And if you have students, you can leverage that for your students. If you have teachers, fellow teachers, you can leverage that for fellow teachers. Or you can use that to put online for you to put yourself out there and build reputation so that we get to a point where people will pay for the resources that you have. There's a platform called Teacher Pay Teachers. It's a platform where people just go online and sign up there. Teacher Pay Teachers, TPT. So you see people come here, they post different things that they design and they put it at some fee, $3, $1. As you begin to gain momentum, as you plan these things, you can put it here, you just sign up and hoping that maybe there's a platform like this in Nigeria. If there isn't, one can look at building, but a place where you can begin to leverage some of these tools, put it there. A lot of teachers are looking for organizer or worksheets. If you spend time using learning how to use this tool to design these worksheets and you're using it in your class, you are refining it until you've gotten something that you know is excellent to deliver a particular topic. You can put it online and put a price to it, and gradually you begin to make some money. See, you can 5 paragraph essay graphic organizer for informative exploratory writing templates. That's $1.50. So these are again, don't limit yourself to just okay, my school don't do this. First, focus on how do I use this technology to improve myself. If I do not have access to expressing it within my immediate school, can I take it online and then reach a wider audience? So these are examples. So you see, there's maths, science, social studies. People just creating things within their classroom and putting it online. Um, some put it on Pinterest, some put it on here, some are making it free, and some makes it as free. So these are just ways for us to be able to leverage all of these things so that we can know and improve ourselves as we progress. Now we have uh, 15 minutes. I want to focus on practicals with that. But maybe before I go ahead, if we have questions, let's just take 5 minutes to ask questions and then we can proceed. If you have questions, you can raise up your hands and then I will respond while I prepare for the practicals. Okay, just there are no questions. Okay, so the first thing want to focus on the tools first is let's look at Google Drive. Okay, um, let me um, if you're using Google Drive, as mentioned in our last class in Unit One, Level One, anything you want to access, most of the Google tools, you can always access them here, and you'll see Google Drive. Google Drive is like your online uh, flash drive or external online drive where you can put your resources. I explained in the last class again, you can go and watch it. My drive is where you put all your stuff. Shared with me are things that people share with you and they give you access. Um, Traditionally, when you have a file, you send it via email. The person downloads it, writes on it, and sends it back to you. Every time there are different resources. But with Google Drive and with these Google tools, you can eliminate a lot of things. You can create a folder. So let's start with I'll first create a folder. Again, this will uh, not be something that I will go into in detail. So let's create a folder level two GC and just call it that. So this is that folder. Um, I can create a document from scratch. Google Doc is like Word document, Google Sheets, Google Slide is PowerPoint, Google Sheets is Excel, Google Vids is Google Video. You can actually generate video using Google Vids. Google Form is, well, a lot of us are familiar with that. Then there's Google Drawing, where you can draw like a whiteboard. Then there's Google Maps, Google Sites. Google Apps Script is for you to code. If you're a good coder, you can use that. So I'm just going to create a Google Doc. Once I create a doc, here is where I give it a name. I know a lot of us are familiar with this, but I am taking this somewhere. Level 2 doc. Okay. When I create that, it automatically puts it in the folder, level 2 doc. Now, I'm just going to run through a few things. I can decide rather than me downloading this and sending it as an email to somebody, I can decide I will share. Share is where you share, and then who do I want to share it with? I'll share it with student, let's say student one. So I need to be sure of something because I deleted all the other students. Let me just be sure that I'm using the right student. Student. Okay, oh, so they're all wrong. So it's student zero, student dash zero. All right. Student two, student dash. Oh, sorry, I need to copy. Student zero. Okay. Student zero. So I'm giving student zero one different rights. View means the student can only view. Comment means they can comment. Edit means they can edit. But traditionally, if you send a document to somebody, you cannot control what they are doing with your document. But with this, I can control what they can do with my document. I can also control whether they can print, copy, or download anything from that document. So this gives you that detailed level of control over your document. So that's a good example of. I just wanted to show that a lot of us already know how to do this before. So I can send an email instead of me going to my email, composing an email, attaching. I'm doing all of that just directly from the document. And more so, I'm able to determine what that person can do with my document. So imagine if you are a grade 1A teacher and you are collaborating with a grade 2 teacher, grade 1B teacher, or both of you are supposed to work collaboratively on a document. Then you can share, one person can generate the document, share with the others, then you give yourself edit right or whichever right, and that person can go in, work on the document, and then you can then submit it or send it to your supervisor or share it with your supervisor and give him or her commenting a comment right. And she goes through it and comments on areas that needs to be improved. You take that comment, make your changes, and your lesson plan is done. So you see, you've gone through the approval process without having to send document back and forth. And then you can create a folder and put it in that folder. So let's say, for example, I have this is my drive. I have GC level one. I can create a folder and call it. Let's just say I call it maths. Then create another folder, call it English, for example. Uh, Within the maths folder, we can have different folders for grade one, grade two, grade three. So I can say grade one. So I'm doing this so that you can see how you can, as a school or as a teacher, um, however you want to organize the structure within your school, you are able to do that. Let me push this into here. So you can move that. I can now decide, okay, this folder, this top folder now, this let's say I give this one the name of my school. Let's just say, uh, I don't have this school yet. Let's just call this school Perfect Drop. All right. So that's the name of the school. And in that school, we have math division, English, science, social studies. So in math, I can now have grade one, grade two. In grade one, I can have grade one A, grade one B, however I want to structure it. Um, like that. So I can decide, okay, for math, I'll give for this entire folder, the main folder, I can share it with everybody, all my staff, because that's where we want to put all our resources. So everybody have access to it. When you give access to you can consider this as a parent folder, and then this one as children folder. So when you give permission, the permission you set at the parent folder, all of them will inherit it, just like some of us we look like our parents. Most of us, all of us look like one of our parents, either our mom or our dad. So we inherit permission. The lower folder we inherit permission from the higher folder. But just like I also have my own identity, then I can go in and now say, okay, everybody when any teacher goes into Perfect Rock, they'll be able to go into Perfect Rock. Then I can come into this maths. Okay, let me just give a perfect example. Let me I know where I'm going. So this perfect rock, I'm going to share it, and I'm going to share it with student one, and then student 02, student 02, then student 03, and then let's just do student 04. All right, so I've given all of them. I want them all to come in and be able to um, enter into the folder. So all of them are able to go in. So if I open this now and go into maths and right click maths, so um, and right click and see share, you will see that automatically in maths, all of them can see maths because these are access from the parent level. Now I can now say, okay, student one and student two are maths teachers. They should only be able to see maths. So this person, I'm going to remove from this person, and I'm going to remove student four. And you see, it's telling me student four have access to this, and I'm going to remove him from this. No, I'm not removing him from here. Oh, I think uh, so. If I remove you from this folder and I remove one teacher from this, one teacher from this, when that teacher logs in or comes in, he can go into Perfect Rock, but he will not see maths teacher. Or I can decide, okay, I want you only to view, you will not be able to edit. So I can say, okay, let's do another sharing. I will, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir.
Thank you. So I can change and say, okay, student four, for math class, you can only view, you cannot um, edit. And so that way I can separate what each department have access to. And only those that are in that department can have access to that document. So with this, you can do any kind of document, whether it's Google Doc, Google Slide, Google Sheet, everything you put in that folder will automatically get the rights of that folder. So this was what we did in level one. But the downside to doing this, especially for you as a team or as a school, is that when a staff leaves, because anything the staff creates and shares with others, it belongs to that staff. That's why if you go here, you will see that owner, everything I create, even though I share it with others, I am the owner of it. Let's now say I leave your school and your IT department deletes my account. That means all those documents are gone. They are deleted. Or if we are working in an environment where, although we are in school, everybody is using their personal email. The day that I create all the documents, I create the document for my math teacher. The day that I leave the school and I'm angry with the school, I'll just go and remove everybody from the document and they are all gone. And that document belongs because I am the owner of it. If I go to shared with me, I will see every document that is shared with me. These are the owners. And so if they either delete their account or they leave the school, they can decide to remove everybody that belongs to that school because they're angry. And all of us will lose everything that we have done with our hard work. That is where the next thing comes in that we did not do in level one. It's called shared drive. In Microsoft, it is called a team. Now, a shared drive is not, you can do everything that I've shown you just now. You can do it in a shared drive. When you create a shared drive, it belongs, a shared drive is like a team, and everything that is put there, though I am the one that created it, it no longer belongs to me. It belongs to the team. And when a member of the team leaves, all we need to do is remove him, or even when his account is deleted, everything belongs to the shared drive, not to an individual account. And this is the best way to work, especially when you're working as a school or as a group of people. You create a shared drive. And so I'm going to create a shared drive now. And how do you create a shared drive? Every one of you have this option. You must have seen my drive shared with me. This is called shared drive. Shared drive is a space or an area where you put a repository of documents that is accessible by a team, a larger group, or a smaller group. And all of them are working collaboratively. So I can create a shared drive by clicking on this. So I'll click on new shared drive. Let's call this level two, GC. So when I create the shared drive, the person that creates the shared drive becomes a manager. So there are different kind of rights in the shared drive. Automatically, because I'm the one that created it, I become like the manager. So there are different rights. So let's look at the rights that are available. So there is viewer, commenter, contributor, content manager, and manager. So manager has the overall right. You can add people, change settings. Content manager means you can only manage content. That means you can add, edit, move, delete, and share the content. Contributor means you can add and edit and share file. Commenter means whatever goes into that place, you cannot edit. You can only comment on them and make suggestions. Viewer means you can only view. So this way, I can create different shared drives for different departments. I can, for example, have one shared drive for the entire school. And within that shared drive, I can now have folders for every department, maths department, science department, social study department. And then in each of those folders, I can now have grade one, grade two, grade three. So as all the teachers are creating their lesson plan, creating their lesson note, creating their content, we are asking them to put it in the shared drive so that when teacher A leaves and we remove her, she loses access to everything there. And teacher B comes, we add her as a replacement, we add her, and she has access to everything that has been done in the history of that folder. This is very, very useful. Let me show you an example. It's quite useful. An example of how this is being used in one of the schools where I work. It is very, very useful, and I think so. I would You can always use that rather than having people uh, work individually on their shared drive. They can always move it on their own OneDrive. They can always move it to shared drive. You can see shared drive, elementary school, secondary school, the whole school shared drive. And so if you go into elementary school, you will see even academic year, you see them academic year, uh, you see different, everything is warehouse. So when a teacher is leaving, all of our stuff belongs here. And when you are looking here, you are not seeing owned by, you are seeing date modified. It tells you when it was last modified, not owner. It doesn't tell you that this document is owned by anybody. Tells you when it was last used or who last opened it. So these are ways, are better ways to work as you, uh, as a community or school, as you work with multiple teachers, so that documents are preserved and there's no loss to anything. So shared drive is a way to go when you are having to collaborate as a school or as a community. Just create shared drives rather than creating drives, creating folders within your drive and getting people to share on that. When they are leaving, you have to back up, you have to transfer ownership. Here, there is nothing about transfer ownership. It's about creating shared drive. And one of the assignments would be that you set up a structure and then share accordingly, which is what I would show us. That I would give us as an example, as an assignment. So shared drive is very important and is very relevant and quite easy to use and quite safe actually. So you can always add people. I can come here and add members. So I can add the student one. I can say this student one will be a contributor. Um, I can add him to the entire group and you will see that there are two people. If I create a folder in here, let's say level one, I create 11, let's just say that two. I create this folder here. Now within this folder, I can still now go and look at what can I do. This person is a contributor. I can decide. Remember, he's taking the rights from the parent folder. I can decide to promote him to a content, uh, or I can decide to promote him to content manager or grant him different rights on this particular folder. Okay, so those are different things that you can do in terms of further breaking down access that you want to give to people within the shared drive. Um, the next thing I would also want to talk about is another way you can use Google Classroom. For example, um, you can create a classroom for your entire school and use it as just announcement. So you can create a classroom for teachers and put all the professional development materials into that Google Classroom, and teachers can go and do self-paced learn, or you can just create a Google Classroom just for announcement, uh, just for announcement. Let me show you another example. I quickly uh, took that out. So this is really more about use cases of what you can do. So this is a Google Classroom, um, and it's for the entire secondary school. You can see secondary school announcements. So this, all the teachers and all the students are considered as students. They are put here, and all the in-house announcements that needs to be made are made. The students and the school actively uses Google Classroom. So all the announcements they need to make within that students and staff need to know, they put it here. There is no classwork, there's no nothing. It's just a classroom for announcements. You can see 346 students are there. Those are ways you can use this within your community. Now, not just about teaching a class, but using it within your community. a way to leverage Google Classroom. So even for teachers, for teachers, you can create professional development opportunities and classroom for teachers where you put all the courses. Let me show another example. Okay, so you can see this class is specifically for teachers. Go your own leaders. 2024. You see all the classworks, video replay of session six, assignments, and all of that. And you see the people that are within the class. Or so you can decide to create. See, this is a 6 week collaborative learning experience to build knowledge, skills, and network to grow the leadership need for safe, healthy, and engaging school where students and teachers want to be. So you can create a classroom and offer professional development for your teachers, or for the entire school. Excuse me. So these are different use cases of how you can use Google Classroom in terms of mentoring and all of that. Let's look at other options that I wanted to show us within Google Classroom. Um, some of these features comes with the not with the private one, not with the public normal Gmail. You have to have Google Gmail for work. And I'm looking at maybe in the next few, I think before this course of ends, I said I was going to announce something. Before this course ends, I'm going to give about 20, I'm going to announce it in the group for about, I think, 25 to 30 schools. I will be able to offer them access to Google Education, and I'll be able to provide them with about 500 licenses each. Um, I would put it there. If you think you're interested, you can begin to talk to your school management, because when I put it out there, people will register. I'll have to create a forum where I can meet with um, representatives from those schools and explain how it will work. So you'll be able to use your school domain with the Google platform that I'll provide, and you can create, I think, between 4 to 500 licenses for students and teachers. So, because what I've noticed is in the personal account, you do not have a lot of these features. So we're going to do a little bit of comparison now. I'm going to pull up my own personal Gmail and look at what are the features that Google Classroom provides. Um, because it's the personal generic one, you might not see all of those features there. Let me see if I have a class that I own. So this is my generic Google Classroom. Now the teacher here. All right, so I'm the teacher here. You will see, I just want to paint the difference so that we see the difference between the public one. I don't know if you're still seeing my screen. Yeah. All right, so the this is the uh, Google Educator for Google Workspace for Education, and this is the general Google one. You can see a little bit of the difference. This one only have class code and upcoming, doesn't have quick links, and doesn't have Google Meet, because you cannot use Meet together with your classroom. You are not able to record. So that's some of the disadvantages. And then if you go to classwork, let's look at. Let me. I think the best way would be to expand it. So swap. All right, let's look at this column. So under this column, you can see that I have Gemini. Here, there is no Gemini. So the Google Educator comes, Google Education, Google Workspace for Education comes with inbuilt Gemini. Uh, it also comes with resources where you can curate resources, but this one doesn't. Let's see also other options, enroll to do, none of that right there. Let's go to classwork. If I create an assignment, let's look at the options that are available when I create an assignment. You can see there's Notebook LM already comes with it by default. Google Gem, custom version of Gemini comes with it. Let's see if this is available in the free one. So there are some limitations in the free one. See, there is no Google Notebook LM, there is no Google Gem. So these are some of the features that are available, and I feel it will be good for schools to leverage on this rather than using personal account. Um, I said initially that I'm going to walk us through um, again. So when you create an assignment, here, if you click on Gemini, you will see that these tools comes, you don't need ChatGPT or all of that. So you can generate online lesson plan, generate quiz, read level text, create rubrics, and all of this you can push directly into your assignment and share it with your student. So an example of what I will do now is create an assignment and add the gem so that you see how that works. I must say this that really, if you go through the level one training, if all you are interested to do is to pass the level two exam, if you go through the level one training that I did and you did all the practicals that I did, you will be able to pass the level two exams without going through this level two training. So if all you are interested in is just the certificate, then you could just go and register for that exam with your level one knowledge, and you I guarantee you will pass. It's a guarantee. If you went through the level one training that I did and you did all the assignments, you will pass the level two. Level two. But again, like the level one, they are only testing three tools out of the several tools. So it's necessary. It's good. I will advise you to do the test, to do the practicals, or to do the training. And that's why this training, I will not focus just on passing the test because none of these things that I'm saying is part of the exam, but they are part of the skill set. So let's look at creating an assignment and then adding some of these features to the assignment. You can see here, I have Notebook LM, I have GEM. That means I can create a Notebook LM resources, attach it to the class, and give access to the student to use it. I think we'll just do that and then we'll do Blogger, maybe touch Google Form before we go. Let me look at this other one if it is there. If you create an assignment, see, it only has link, upload, create video, whereas this one has all of these features. So let's create an assignment. I'm just going to call this, um, let's see, respiration. Okay, creating respiration. I can put a question here, but maybe, okay, so is, what is respiration? That's the question. You can attach video, attach YouTube, you can create. But what I want to do is let's look at, I want to create a Google Gemini, sorry, Notebook LM. And I am assigning it to my assignment called Notebook. I can assign it to many other ones. If I have a Notebook LM on this account, which I do, I can select from existing, or I can create a new one, but I can select from existing. And so it will say it's saying this untitled. Let me just uh, open the Notebook LM that I have on this account. Let's see. On this account. So you see there's untitled, going to the assignment because I asked it to pick. Okay, sorry. I asked, I asked it to pick from an existing, is saying untitled, right? Let's go back. This one that I've opened now, let's call this one. I'm just going to say, let's say I want you to discover sources and I want you to, again, Notebook LM, I don't have to, I can add resources, but I want you to discover uh, do a deep research on respiration for grade 5. All right, so it's going to do online, it's going to search for resources online after, and then I can upload all those resources. Here I can prepare infographics, PowerPoint, slides, and do everything in here. So once I'm done in here, and I want my student to interact with this notebook, I've prepared all my resources around respiration. Everything that I want the student to know, I have done it here. I've done infographics, I've done video overview, I've done audio overview, I've done quiz or flashcards. I've prepared all the materials for respiration. You see, it's looking for resources. Say, let's say I've done all of that and I rename this as respiration. Okay. So this is my respiration uh, notebook alone. You can do audio overview, video overview, mind map, quiz, flashcards, all of that. I've done everything. Then I can go into the assignment now. I want to assign that notebook element. Again, we're choosing from selected, and then you can see respiration. Automatically, it comes there, and I can attach the notebook. So it's still resourcing. So see, the notebook is already attached. Okay, highlight at the top of the class. So they can click on this notebook as a student and then they'll be able to see what's there. The next thing is I want to create a gem, a Google gem. Let me see if that notebook is done. We're still looking for sources. So, where's the classroom? All right, so you can attach video. All of this was done before in level 1. So let's click on attach gem. So what do I want to attach? Is it a quiz, a real world connector, a brainstorm partner, or a study partner? Whichever one. So I want to create, let's say quiz. All right. It will say which class you want to assign it to. I'm assigning it to my respiratory assignment. Okay. That's all. Need to do respiratory assignment. Uh, and then do I want to create or do I want to select? If I want to select, it will look at my my Google, my Gemini. So let me go to the Gemini of this my account. It will see and let's see what is there. Again, Gemini is also coming with this. Also comes with the Google Educator. So you can see that it sees my study partner too. All right, so I will go back to the assignment. So I don't want an existing. I want to create a new one, and it's a quiz. Then I'll create. I'm assigning it to this class still. Then I'll create a new one. Immediately it's open, and then I can give it all the resources that I want. Um, when I give it that resources, and then it will quiz me based on those resources. Let's open it. I'm opening it. Because I'm the owner, I can edit it, but the student will not be able to edit it. So what I want you to do is I can put um, it comes by default because I say it should quiz. It comes by default with some prompts, some instruction. So these are all the instructions. You can remove it and create your own instruction. You're a friendly and professional quiz tutor. Your purpose is to help students learn by testing their knowledge. You're an expert at scaffolding, blah, blah, blah. Core directive, the quiz generation program. You must follow the 4 protocols in every conversation. This is your primary operational directive. So no matter what the student does, you are the one that determines how they interact and what the AI will do. So this is you creating a safe AI that the student can use, and you can literally tell it how you want it to use it, and there will be no cheating because they are using this exact one. Step one, the mandatory contact log, absolute tested. Core principle, your primary goal is to gather up to 3 key pieces of context, grade level, topic, and operational. So this is a general quiz chatbot, but I can personalize it to only for topic called respiration. So for example, I can copy this now and then put it in. I can I can maybe open Gemini in another page and tell it to. Um, I can open a new chat and say uh, adopt this prompt for quiz on respiration for grade 5. So I'll copy and paste. So it's going to convert all of this for grade 5, and it's just going to be for respiration. So I'll copy it back and put it into that quiz generator so that the prompt is that it will follow all of those strict rules, but it will be tailored towards respiration only. Oh, this one is creating. I'm asking you to. Sorry, it's creating the quiz. All right, so that's not what I want. Okay, yeah, stop. Okay. Below is a an instruction for Gen Moody to redraft it for respiration or grade 5. So I don't want you to create the quiz. I just want you to redraft it. So you can modify it uh, according to whatever topic, then you copy it and paste it. So you see, it's redrafting it now. The draft adapts your protocol for grade 5 audience, focusing on respiration. So if I copy this draft now, if I copy it, then I go back to the gem that I was editing. I just paste it here. So it has adopted all those protocols and rules, and it's going to use it for respiration. Here, I can now determine the the resources. So I can determine what are the resources that I want it to use and refer to. So if I have specific content or specific resource, I put them in my Google Drive and I then link it to it. So it will not go beyond that knowledge base that I have given it. Uh, so again, under the tool, I want it to be guided learning so that it will not go outside. It will not do deep research, create image or canvas. It's going to be guided learning. So it's whatever you determine it to do to the student and what tool you want it to use that you use. So when I update that, it gets updated and it's in the assignment. The student can always refer to it. So these are additional tools that comes with the Google Workspace for Education that the personal one doesn't have. And these are some of the reasons why I feel um, with the access that I have, I could leverage that to provide um, such access to schools. So again, in the next few weeks, just look out for those announcements. If you can start talking to a school management if they're interested, whichever school is interested, that opportunity will be there. So I can assign the assignment as usual that we normally do during my discussion around blended classroom. I mentioned that you can also decide to group students. So these are 75 students in this class. I can provide groupings so that if I know that these students are higher learner, I can create an assignment tailored just for them. If I know that these students are slow learners, I can tailor assignment for them. Leveraging AI, I can use AI to say, okay, this is the topic I'm teaching. I have these two category of students. Can you create separate contents for them? But make sure that all the learning objective of the course of the topic is attained. So you have one learning objective, two sets of categories of students, and then you have content that is tailor fit and tailor made for them. And then you have assessment also that hits the same standardly hits the same learning objective, and you can group them and assign them to them. So that's also one way to leverage personalized learning. So to create a group, you just create a group. I'll say these first five students are, or these 10 students, well, not all students. I'll give the group name. I'll say, uh, so for example, A students. Okay. Uh, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll create that group, a student group. All right. So then I create another group. I call it B student, for example. And then I go and just assign all the students that are B student. Sorry if you are B student. I didn't intend for you to be B student. So you can do that and then you're done. So here, when I don't want to assign student, I can say, okay, this is going to be assigned to this group. And it's done. So this assignment will only go to that group and it will go to those tests. So that way you can also break down and then assign. So let's assign it to everybody, not groups. I'm going to assign it to all students. So I'm assigning to all students due date and all of that. If you have topics, you can create topics. We did all of that in level one grading. So I assign. If I assign to a group, only those groups will get notification. If I assign to everybody, everybody will get notification. And you see, class learning tools is already put in the notebook LN, the quiz, the gem, the two gems, and all of the materials. Um, this one, GC, I can see that 12 students has opened it. I can see who the students are. And then you are able to see how students are interact or which students have actually interacted with the resources that we provide. So these are some of the advanced features in Google Classroom, but they are not available for the personalized one. Um, let's quickly go to Blogger. Um, it's quite easy to use. It's just blogger.com. It opens, you click, you create, you sign in. You will always need a Google account. You sign in. So I'm signing in with my TTC. It's asking me to authenticate. I'll put my password. Okay. Once I log in. So what blog do I want to, European Union law, blah, blah, blah. Sorry. What blog do I want to create or what's the title of my blog? So I might say learning tech with CRA, for example. And I click next. What's URL? So you see it's URL. So I might say CRA with CRA. So tech with CRA.com, .blogspot.com. Don't forget that address. So I'm going to call it tech, learn tech, finish. All right. So this is my blog. And then you can create a new post. When you say new post, you can write your article. Learn, okay. You can preview it. It will load. You see, this is the preview. I can put my image later on. So so you can see how it looks like on a phone, tablet. It's pretty easy. It's more like Google Sites, but with some other. It's lightweight. Once you're done with everything, you can add. You see, you can add Google. You can add. You can insert video. You can insert YouTube directly. You can insert uh, photos. You can insert by URL. You can upload from your computer. You can insert link. You can change the font type. Uh, you can choose HTML view, compose view. You can change the font type. You can change to paragraph type. So it gives you all the formatting abilities of a Word document. And then you can just design as much as you want. So let's say I want to say learn with me. I want this to be paragraph, but I want it to be major heading. See, brings it that, or minor heading or whichever one. If I want to change the color, I want it to be bold or stuff. Let's say I want to change the color, it's green. So you can do all of your formatting. Let's say I hear say YouTube YouTube channel here. I can put a link, get the TTC YouTube channel or whichever YouTube channel I want. Let's just okay, get this one and then paste it. So do I want it to open in another new window? Yes. I insert it. That's it. Let's say I want to import a video directly from YouTube. Uh, okay, TTC testimony. You can put that. You can drag it as much as you want. So I want to preview. I can preview, um, and you will see. So people can play directly from here. If you click on the link, it will go around. You can also share the link from here. So you can change the background, you can edit it as much as you want. And here you can also, this is the preview side, the one that cannot fit. So label, you can label it and say uh, tech, or you can say, if for example you write every day, you can say maybe December 2025. Uh, it's, you see, this one is under December 2025. Then I can publish. Once I publish, I click on confirm. I'll delete this later on. Now I can copy the link and send it to people. I can share it with my community by mail, whatever way I want to share it. I can share that link. And once it is published and people have access to it, they will be able to access it. Uh, so I can apply label December 2025. So all the is either you apply label by date or by topic. If you're going to pack everything together, maybe you're teaching on one topic this week, you can have that label properly labeled and it will move them all together and easily arranged, and all of that. Here is where you can change your theme. You can choose different themes and patterns that you want. Again, is available to use. You can edit and choose whichever theme that is suitable for you. And once you select a theme, everything you do will take that theme. All your pages will take that theme. Settings, you go to settings, to learn the tech with learn tech with CRA, adult content, you can privacy and all of that. You can see this is the blog address. If somebody picks this now, you can always edit it and change it. But let's say I copy it and somebody picks it. Let's go to incognito, paste it there. Let's see what will happen. See, my blog is automatically up. Um, I can share with people um, as much as I want, and people can see. So label, they'll be able to see. You click on December, you'll see a list of all the posts that I made in December. They click on another label, they'll see all of that. So it allows you just arrange everything according to topics and according to all of that. So that's how easy it is. The other part is just for you to determine the layout, how you want it to be structured, pages, how you want it to page. Then later on, you can begin to monetize it. Uh, Again, like I said, you whatever you're doing in class, even if you don't have a way to fully express it within the community where you are, you can begin to push yourself out there, either using Google Sites or using uh, Google Blogger. This is how a lot of bloggers also started. And so after a while, you can begin to monetize once you get a lot of traction. you can monetize. That is that for Blogger. Google Sites, I think there are videos that went in depth into Google Site that I've done before. I'll link it with the class materials and assignments for this week, so you can watch that. One more thing that I would like to do before we go is Google Forms. Um, for Google Forms, like I mentioned, I think we've done this also in our previous sessions. For Google Forms, you can create a form or you can use from templates. These are, if you want to go templates, these are all templates. Let's look for one that is, can be, let's see. Okay, let's look at assessment. Let's just take assessment, for example. I want to demonstrate flipped classroom with this. So let's say this is an assessment, but this is a quiz. So in this quiz, I can decide to add a link and put it there, or I can decide to get a video. Say, for example, I want to get a video on addition. Okay, I add this video to it. So we're going to use we're going to teach addition next week. I'm teaching addition next week. I'm teaching addition next week, and I want my students to. I'm flipping the classroom so that they can learn the resources at home, and then we come into school to demonstrate and to apply. So I do this, and then I can ask questions based on this video. I can decide to say question one, what is so 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 plus so so so. Question two, what is so 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 plus so so so. And so those are ways for you to access that. And I think so. This opportunity is there. Another opportunity, another way for you to get them to continue learning also is, let's say there's a second question, and let's say this is an addition question, and the question is, I think I did this one also during C level, one plus one, and we say this is two, this is three, sorry, three, four, five. I'll change this to multiple choice because you can only have one answer. Sorry. So answer key, you can only have one answer. So this is it. Now you can also do feedback. So if there's a correct answer, say good job. So if the student gets it right, he gets a good job. Sorry, try again. But rather than the student just failing it and I telling him try again, I can link a website to it so that if the student fails the answer and he checks his answer and he sees his fail, he can click on that website to go and learn more. Or I can attach a YouTube video to say watch this video to learn more or to refresh yourself about the concept and retry again. So these are ways that you can leverage Google Forms. It's not just about getting feedback, providing quiz, but it's also providing support and also providing that opportunity for students to learn even while they are not with you, such that uh, whether the student gets it or not. So, for example, the student gets it, you can get him to watch that video um, to learn more, or if student fails it, you can get him to watch that video to learn to learn and to make to correct the mistake. Another scenario is maybe, for example, you're teaching addition, but you want to test them on easy things. So you test them on easy things, and on you can create. We've created sections before on forms. Like in level one, I showed you how to create sections. So you can create a section to just test their prior knowledge, or maybe you just entered, you just got into school and they had done addition last year, but they did addition of one number, single digit addition last term. This term they're going to do double digit as addition. So their first class, you decide to give them this quiz or this flip. You decide to flip your classroom. You decide to give them a video to watch on one digit addition, and you added questions for them. Then at the end of that section, you provide another video for them to watch. And this video is about two-digit addition so that they finish watching it and then they go to the next session and then start answering questions on two-digit addition so that you are able to first refresh their memories to get them to be aware of the one-digit addition. Then you are gradually introducing them to a two-digit addition so that they can progress. And so those are different ways. Whether a student is failing the test, the quiz, and you want to reinforce, or a student is passing it, and you're providing a video to extend and challenge them to do more. So those are other opportunities for you to do what you need to do. Um, we've talked about HyperDoc. I might look into that next week as we progress. But it's about creating a document where you can insert. We've done this again in one of the units in level one. You can insert anything into the Word document. The same thing with Excel. The same thing with spreadsheet, emojis, videos, tables, YouTube videos, and all of that. You can insert it hyperlinks. You can insert it all into it so that the students can click and it takes them to additional resources as to provide uh, some flipped classroom or additional resources for them to leverage. And we will do a session on Google Doc to look at the advanced features, um, which is called smart chips. We didn't look, that wasn't covered in Unit 1. Smart chips, we look at how those can be leveraged. And then maybe during that session, I will also look at some of the things I'll revise some of the things we've done in level one. So I think I'll begin to round up here. Uh, 10 minutes out, so we started a little late. Uh, so this will be where we will round up today. I would open it up for questions while I just put up the attendance.